So I've got the body disassembled. This is the spring and piston that normally comes in there, which will still be in this this setup. Normally what you would see inside this body is there's a check valve where that hole is, now that you can see light coming through it, that allows the oil to flow in and out. That check valve I removed. For you guys, there's usually a hole here, and this is tapped now, but that hole has that check valve and pin in there, and that can be driven out with a punch. And it's perfectly aligned with the spring, so whenever you tap it, you can tap it for a bolt or a set screw. Basically what's happening is this. To keep the tension or maintain tension, I've driven that rod will be cut and an end will be put in for a flathead screwdriver, and that'll go inside the back right here. It goes through this piston like this, or through this spring and piston like this, and then basically you drive the rod in and set your tension on the tensioner for the chain, and then this set screw here that I've drilled through that aligns with the bolt going through here, put Loctite on that and then crank that down to set that screw so it doesn't loosen up. Basically the oil pressure will continually to drive any slack out if there is any. You try to take as much as you can out with the bolt, but the oil pressure will drive any other slack in that could be in the chain. It'll drive it out. But the main thing is that if there's any kind of issues or any kind of slack that happens, whether that be through misshifts or oil pressure drop or anything crazy like that, you don't have the valves hitting or timing or anything like that messing up, especially with sustained RPMs. This single cam is going to be turning 8,000 RPM, and yes, it does turn that much. It turned that much if you look at my old videos. You can really spin this thing to the moon, and it keeps making power on the dyno. It's really crazy. But anyway, of course you don't want to sustain 8,000 RPMs forever, but it can do it. So anyway, so one of the other things that I had to do is the oil pressure, since the bolt goes through there, the oil pressure is then blocked to enter into the cylinder here. So what I had to do is, now normally it would go through that center hole through the check valve. Since the bolt's covering that, I had to find the path inside where the oil came through, and then what I did, you probably can see it right there, that little black dot. I drilled that hole, and what that does is allow the oil, it's an oil passage, so the oil can enter the cylinder and pressurize that piston to take up any extra slack. And then it also returns that way, so there isn't any kind of like return hole. That's what happens. Now the check valve obviously will allow that, but it'll be allowed to freely return once the engine's shut down. But that'll be, oil will freely flow through that hole whenever there's oil pressure. So basically that's really it, guys. It's a simple thing to do. Another thing is, I'm actually going to do today before we build the engine, is this plug here that's on top, this cast plug. I will be tack welding just the top, just 2 little tack welds. Just when high pressure, high volume oil pumps and there's more pressure, I mean this thing can see close to 80 psi of oil pressure at full throttle. You don't want these things popping out, so that's just an extra precaution to just throw a couple tack welds on there. But this is gonna be a good thing, guys. I'm excited to just see how it helps. These things are really touchy. I mean, it's an old way of doing things, and should maintain the pressure and the tension, and then also help with really high RPM power. Should see maybe some little things, the timing and things like that, to be more even. No kind of drops in timing or any kind of fluctuations or anything. So Anyway, hope you guys kind of understand what's going on and like that. But I'll have more. We'll be building the engine this afternoon, so stay tuned. We are back again. Got everything cleaned up and ready to go, and got the bottom end put back together. Also got the cylinder head and everything. Just kind of double checked everything on that, and I finally got my RB head studs in. And finally, we have this head torque down to 100 foot-pounds with these gigantic 12 millimeter RB 26 studs. So I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. So here we go, boys and girls. 12 millimeter RB 26 head studs are installed. Washers fit good. Everything fits the way it should. One thing I will tell you, if you decide to do this, guys, when you do the block, my cousin did a killer job of putting this on a vertical mill. Make sure you put your block on a vertical mill. Make sure these suckers are straight. Even with the vertical mill, these two in the back were just a hair tight. I had to put these two in first, and then just slightly kind of push on the head to get the thread started on the other ones. Everything else lined up good. These head studs are so big, they just fit in the Cosworth head gasket, and you don't have any room for alignment dowels. I mean, it pretty much aligns itself because those studs are so big. But anyway, got the head on, and we'll show you what it looks like when I get everything else put together. Something I do with the rocker arm shafts and the camshaft. I keep everything, whenever I clean it, I put it in saran wrap. It just helps with the rust. It's just a nice little way to keep everything from rusting up and getting any kind of trash or anything like that in there. So just kind of want to give you guys that little quick tip. I'm getting ready to put this camshaft in and get everything trued up. Also wanted to take some time to just show you guys this new timing tensioner setup that I modified. And you guys will see the video where I kind of explain it, but this is it in action. You can see I took that stud and drilled it for a flathead. I have a reset screw in the front with some blue Loctite, and there is no slack in this chain. I can't push back on the piston with the tensioner, and basically what that does is just allows the tensioner to never go back, but so far. Any kind of heat cycle and the chain gets warm and stretches a bit, the oil pressure will take up that slack, but it's not going to jump timing or have any kind of weird timing issues because that stud inside there is always going to keep that piston tight. So it just helps with high RPMs and any kind of misshift. You see this in most of your K series and newer engines. This is my KA version since we don't have locking tensioners. But anyway, top ends together, got a camshaft, thing nice and the engine honey, and it's in time. Everything's ready to go. We're ready to put some timing cover and get ready to seal this guy up. Alright guys, this is day 2. I got the engine together, got everything sealed up last night, and just got finished wrapping the exhaust manifold, and basically put everything on just to see kind of what it's going to look like, and I hope y'all like it. Boom. Now, is that not gorgeous or what? I'm so ready to get this thing on the road. That exhaust manifold, or that titanium wrap, love it. So much easier to work with than that old fiberglass stuff. It's got it's just easier to put together, stretches a lot easier. It's just really easy to wrap in comparison to the ones I've used in the past. But anyway, needless to say, it looks nice. So that turbo though, thing is huge. the Gato manifold, repainted with the wrinkled black to match the valve cover and the compressor housing. Pure layer, Pure 1 filter. And if you want to ask why I don't use anything else, you can go online. There are tests. Evolution M has a good test. They test every single filter pretty much on the market, and that filter outperformed all of them. So anyway, that's why I'm going with that. Also, if you guys are curious, this is what kind of oil I run. It's Mobil 1 1550, the racing oil. The reason why I say it's that, yes, it says race proven, but here's the thing. The reason why this is better than your normal, if you look right here, 1550 contains extra air anti-wear protection zinc for high performance engines. You won't see this on any other Mobil 1 oil that they sell. This is what you want, guys, if you're running high lift cams. That zinc, they take that out of almost every bit of oil nowadays. You can get this stuff at Walmart for $25 for a 5-quart, at least here in North Carolina. You'll pay $40 or $50 for that same thing at an auto parts store. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Here soon, hopefully get her in here. I do have to take the transmission out, and I've got to get the bell housing machined. My cousin's going to take care of that for me so I can get rid of that stupid flywheel spacer. And then I also have to get my downpipe, a new piece put on the end right here. This cracked, and a new V-band flange. So anyway, getting closer, guys, getting closer. Stay tuned.